Thank you, young Ulrich. I'm back here at the broadcast table, and once again, I have a guest in the early hours of the day. I was joined by Kevin, and now I'm joined by the second best person I could imagine for a broadcast. My coach, all the way from Scotland, Quberte is here. Welcome, mate.
Neo, such a pleasure, man. How's it going?
It's really, really good. The games have been good. The people are really good. I got you by my side. We got Armin versus Hippo. What could possibly go wrong?
Absolutely nothing. It's just a classic matchup. We've seen it so many times. They kind of trade games. They're pretty toe-to-toe with one another. But as Carson was saying, I think I'll have to give the edge a little bit to Hippo in this upcoming match. I think he's the more practiced. And but have no doubt Armin can definitely pack a punch. You know, I think he can do it. But I will give it to Hippo a little bit there.
If Armin is in serious mode, he's a scary, scary guy. He almost beat Happy once on Northern Isles. We all remember that game. Here we go. At least we're not getting up against Happy in the quarterfinal. Yep, that's exactly what they share. The never-ending ESL Cup quarterfinal between Armin and Hippo. Episode 375,000 or something. I don't know. It's so cool that these guys, they rose to like the pinnacle of the scene pretty much at the same time. Not really the pinnacle, but to a very, very high level. These guys get along so well, but I guess not on these hopefully 3 maps.
No, exactly. We're hoping for a bloody conflict between our 2 players here. I think we'd like to see an action-packed game as opposed to a kind of passive, peaceful, you know, how you doing, mate? It's all good. Can see Armin at the bottom left here, opening with the standard Farseer Headhunter. And yep, all's looking absolutely normal so far. And Hippo, in the meantime, has got 2 farms down. We'll definitely be on the lookout to see if a 3rd farm is dropped, as that could indicate a bit of a deviance in strategy. However, the standard these days is to go for that 2-farm rifle tech.
There's already so much knowledge about the matchup here that people can definitely not expect from me, but that's why I got you by my side. Yeah, the matchup seems to be steadily evolving. Like sometimes there's a Blood Mage, sometimes there's a Mountain King, sometimes it's Clap, sometimes it's Bash, sometimes it's 2 farms, 3 farms, sometimes even fast expansion.
Yep.
Everything seems to be possible. It's a flavor of the week kind of thing.
Yeah, I think it's really cool to see a lot of the humans try to adapt their strategy. You know, we've seen kind of strategic variance from humans kind of stagnate a little bit in the past, and now it's sort of evolving once again, which I think is really exciting, as I think a lot of people feel human has been left in the dust with the absence of InfinTH in the pro scene. But now, you know, even though this isn't the top level game, we still see people of Armin and Hippo's caliber, for example, trying to innovate and develop the meta as such. And yeah, it is going to be that quick tech for Hippo right here, and Armin is going for the 2nd burrow, so his tech will be a little bit behind. And yep, here we go, some initial trading in between the Farseer and the Archmage here. Absolutely crucial for both players to try and put damage on each other's heroes. You can see the Wolves are just chasing the Archmage away, kind of pushing him away from his own camps. And Armin's going to be on the lookout to try and deny potentially some militia creeping and keep track of the Archmage here with the Wolves, though they are soon to expire.
It's an interesting move by Hippo, like counter-harassing on level 1. When do you ever see that? He's just running away from the Wolves, defending at home. Seems to be fine so far. So nobody's leveling. Who does that favor?
I would say if Hippo can secure level 2 and the Farseer can be kept level 1, then that is great for the human player. If both remain on level 1, however, then that is definitely a clear advantage for the Orc. We need the Archmage on level 2 as quickly as possible. And oh, this is absolutely crucial here. This Arcane Tower being pressured a little bit, being repaired nice and quick by Hippo there. And it's absolutely essential that Hippo is able to preserve the health of his units right now, as it feels like when they get a bit low, the Orc can kind of wrestle advantage of the map a little bit, and we don't want to see that from Hippo.
Exactly. I'm curious if you talked to Hippo before, because we saw one of his first matches versus Toxie, where he was the big favorite, as he is now. But then it was really close, and Toxie was a real threat, and Hippo didn't play his best, that's for sure. So I wonder if he's a little stronger now.
Well, I definitely think perhaps Toxie played maybe a bit above the level he expected, and Hippo perhaps a little bit below. But no, I haven't had the chance to actually discuss the match with Hippo. I did speak to Armin about it though, bumped into him, and I was wishing him good luck and hope he does okay. And he was a little bit shaky, he wasn't sure how well he was going to do, and I was saying, you know, I think we can agree both, because he might have to face Side as well if he gets through, I think. So Hippo and Side, obviously Hippo, Side playing human currently as well. I was saying I think they both struggle a bit against Orc actually. It's not their most solid matchup. We've seen like Tiesiog, the young Lithuanian player, also do really good against Hippo. So I think I was saying to Armin, I think you could do it, man. You can do brilliant.
How can you even lose against Orc when you have defend?
Well, it's obviously this particular game we don't actually see any defend, but yeah, it used to be a strategy where you tried to leverage a quick level 3 Archmage with defend and try to push usually with either a Beastmaster, which I know Leon, the German human player, loves that strategy. I've lost against him with my Orc against that as well, and done it to other Orcs as well with a Panda second. So that used to be quite popular. However, I think with the kind of how important it is to creep the second heroes of both players, factoring that in, you know, if you decide to go for a 3 farm tech and then add in defend, the Mountain King is usually an entire level behind the TC, which is something you don't want. It's extremely hard to win a fight if you don't have your level 3 hero against your opponent's level 3 hero. So now the MK, you see, it's already out before the TC. He's going to try to creep 3 as fast as he can as well. And obviously once the TC joins the fight, he will do the same. But we actually see a tier 3 tech out of ArminVB. That's very interesting.
Is it time? Is it finally happening? Will we get RARALAND at RARALAND? We've been missing that.
Yeah, absolutely.
The entire day. Maybe Armin is doing me a favor here. TC, of course, as you said, Mountain King is out leveling already. Stormbolt, and then once again the question, Bash or Clap? Maybe depending a little on the level of Brilliance, Aura?
So generally speaking, I feel like a lot of human players tend to favor Bash when the Orc is playing pure Headhunter. Whereas when they play the kind of more meaty, traditional Orcish units, such as the Grunt and the Raider or the Kodo, we often see the Mountain King opt for that level 2 clap and trying to prioritize that as soon as possible. However, against HH, it's pretty common for the human to just take Bash because your priority is just to focus each individual unit down as quickly as you can. Because Berserkers, even though they get that extra 100 health, they're often in Berserk form though and take that increased damage and fall very, very fast to that focus fire, and Bash can help you secure maybe a Headhunter kill or even a Kodo kill at times.
Nice little timing here by Armin, I feel, with the Farseer harass. Hippo was really keen on getting that level. Oops, Stormbolt. Lots of damage on the Farseer. Can he get the Dwarf up front? Little body block here.
Oh,
Whoopsie.
nice.
Farseer in trouble. Chain Lightning almost getting a double kill, but TP out to save himself. And Hippo finally has the time to finish this camp. He's been trying that for a long time and now gets item and experience and closer to level 3.
Yeah, absolutely. It's pretty nice that Hippo didn't actually lose any units here. Obviously, 2 footmen going down would have been huge, but it's more experience on the side of the Farseer and a little bit of slower creeping speed for Hippo, but he manages to keep them both alive, thankfully. And yeah, Armin loses his TP here, which for an Orc player isn't absolutely terrible. Although saying that, I see the Mountain King picked up the Wand of the Wind there, which is a pretty deadly item in certain cases. And if that Farseer comes back across again, he could get immediately winded and then bolted, and he's just a goner.
Bring the storm to Hamburg. I mean, we're kind of used to it, just like you guys in the north, but yeah, it's definitely a threat. Let's see what the TC picks up. I like that he's not scared too much and still maneuvering with the Farseer. Hippo, nice scouting, and he gets the second spot in the middle as well. Sobi Mask for a Mountain King.
Incredible
on
item.
Top of Brilliance Aura. Yep, look at the mana points. Okay, at the moment they are pretty steady because he's at max, but you will look at the mana points, and then the mana regen is pretty insane.
You know what? I would be tempted just to throw a bolt right now on these creeps and
Yep.
just see that mana regen fly.
Exactly.
I think by the time the next fight rolls around, you'll be full mana anyway. You may as well actually try and speed up a little bit, although that might be the undead in me speaking there. I did notice that Armin built a lot of Headhunters, which is kind of surprising because he's not got a lot of Shaman. Actually, just 1 Shaman right now with Adept just on the way. Shadowhunter coming out, and he's already capped out at 49 food. Oh, sorry, there's the second Shaman just rallying in now, but only 2 Shaman is not a great deal. But this does mean that if Armin is able to land a big stomp, he's going to have a lot of Headhunter focus, and he'll be looking to pick off either the rifles immediately or get into the backline and decimate those casters.
Yeah, I wonder if it's also like a little tailor-made for the red spot, because you have so much physical damage, and it's really, really easy to creep the red spot, even though it's a big granite golem. He looks scary, but he's gone now. And this is maybe a move that Hippo doesn't expect at this time of the game.
Yeah, I think it's something you should try to be aware of against Headhunters. Oh my goodness. Legion Doomhorn is just the absolute dream item. And, I'm sure you human players out there have suffered at the hands of Orcs with their Endurance Aura and Speed Scroll. And I think, adding a dash of Legion Doomhorn in there just makes it so tough to keep ahead of the Orc. They'll just outrun you all the time and, run you in circles as such. But Hippo deciding to actually pressure right now, which is definitely an interesting move. He's quite prepared. He's got an Invo, a Scroll. Still his TP, and of course Wand of the Wind at the ready. In the meantime, of course, Armin, without that TP, has to walk on back, and actually losing the shop in the meantime, which we know is a critical defense building for the Orc.
Yeah, he did get the orb very, very early on to have a measure against the Water Elemental, and he found a big mana potion at the right-hand side. Shadowhunter,
Incredible item.
Exactly. Shadowhunter is in trouble. He might have suffered with that shop down because there's no mana potion available, but here's the big fight, everybody. Dispel on both sides.
Oh,
Wand of the Wind, really well done. Right before the storm, there is purple.
Already bolted the TC before the storm.
God, Hippo on fire. How long can you prevent the storms? But these will be your demise.
Wait, the Shadowhunter here is getting low. Okay, heals himself, does throw the bot. Unfortunately, the Shadowhunter is getting away. TC gets a pretty... Actually doesn't stomp anything there, just the Elemental, which gets purged. And all the creeps are getting... Oh, a Sorceress died to the north there, to the creeps, and then the creeps have aggroed onto the Shaman. It's a bit of a messy engagement here, Neo.
Oh yeah, Shaman also out of position, both down. They don't have the Master Training yet. Save him, save him. Okay, takes care of the Wolf. Shadowhunter again a little far forward, both playing a little shaky, but that makes for a very, very exciting fight. Mountain King low now. There might be a Chain Lightning. There is a Chain Lightning actually.
The Stomp is queued up
yeah.
before the Wand of the Wind, so if you don't actually spam cancel it, it will go off again. Unfortunately, Heal Scroll being used there as well by Hippo, and unfortunately he's not doing fantastic in this fight actually. The Headhunters have an insane concave. All of them are attacking right now, and the low heroes to the back there are just absolutely fine. They're chilling, waiting for that Voodoo Lunge to come back up just so they can quickly heal and continue the fight here.
And there's still the big mana potion, mind you. Mountain King throwing one bolt after the next. Armin is a little down in supply, but he has 700 gold. Macro up, my boy.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, too, is, you know, he hasn't spent all the gold yet. He's going to get back to 50 foot again, and Hippo this whole time has been low upkeep. He's losing that cash over time, 3 gold per tick. And that does mount up over a long siege like this. If he's not able to continue getting picks, he's going to fall behind economically, and Armin will just catch up again. And yet, Rifle going down there. He's still at that dreaded 51 foot in low upkeep, but I think Armin's going to take care of that for him and pick off this next Rifleman.
Looking good. The big bull is in position. Needs some healing, but got a potion from the shop. Mountain King far forward. That was the last Stormbolt.
Oh, godly Stomp. There we go.
All of a sudden, we have a massive, massive storm. Trying to go for the counter focus, but the Shadowhunter is there as well. Reinforcements. He tried to deny the Shaman. Nice little move over there. TC level 4. Oh my god, this movement speed is just off. Out of this world, but
it's
so
just
are
ridiculous.
the splits by Hippo. Next Chain Lightning, Mountain King in trouble. Gets out for now, but that's the big mana potion now. More storms. Hippo's in deep trouble.
He's in deep right now, and he's deciding to pull the plug all the way up, Mountain King. Oh my lord, 31 HP, and he gets out of there, and the stragglers have to waddle on back home.
Oh no, not another interception. The movement speed is so sick.
Look at the TC, he's sprinting. He's Usain Bolt right now. This is incredible.
Usain Cow, you mean?
Usain Usain Bull.
Ooh.
There we are.
Oh my god, this movement speed is just insane.
Man.
Hippo lost a couple of units already due to a missed rally, I think. The Sorceress down, Rifleman down, and now this position. Oh boy. Shadowhunter has no healing. Oh,
wait, the
Chain Lightning, shocking turn of events, and Hippo taps out. Armin taking the 1-0, and that might be quite an upset for a lot of people.
There we go. He pulled it off. You know, perhaps it was my pre-match pep talk with Armin. No, I absolutely won't take credit for that. But he played very solidly there. Obviously, amazing items we have to acknowledge. I think for Hippo, he didn't quite have the mass required to pull off that sort of all-in attack. I think it maybe came a little bit too late. And sort of when you attack the Orc base and you know he killed the shop, that's great. He didn't manage to kill the Shadowhunter who popped out of the altar and sat at the back with that Orb of Lightning, which actually got rid of the Elementals, which was a really sweet move. I really appreciated that. And of course, Armin had the time just to creep up and come back on home.
Right on. And he never gave it away anymore. Really liked the Orb of Lightning. There was just seconds, I guess, where he could use the shop, and he had a couple of gold left in the bank because macro.
Yep.
But how much damage does this orb do to the elementals, man? We haven't seen anyone after.
I know. I think it might be 250, though I'm sure Carson could correct me on that. Maybe it's a little bit lower, maybe 200, but it's definitely significant. And of course, actually, the Shadowhunter is the best orb carrier. He's got good base attack speed. He's actually an agility hero, believe it or not. So he actually has. He's the guy that's going to do the best kind of job at purging those elementals for you.
Exactly. Also, lots of levels. This creeping on the right-hand side for Armin, I think, was very important. It was also greedy. He had no town portal anymore, and he he kind of knew a push must be coming, right? Because human tier 2 against orc tier 3, you definitely lose. So Hippo had to do something at that point. Then going for the red and the consumable null camp, getting the levels, getting these items, pretty good. And then he was right back home when he needed to be home.
Yep.
And then held.
Yeah, no, it was a deliciously executed game on Armin's part. That was brilliant to see. And I'm kind of wondering, is the momentum going to stay with Armin, or is Hippo going to try and claw it back? Depends. I guess we'll see here in game 2, huh?
Yeah, depends a little on the map, but definitely big points for Armin here. Maybe the human matchup suits him kind of well. I know he doesn't like to play against Night Elf so much, if you believe it or not.
I've never heard that rumor before. Absolutely no.
So yeah, might be one of his favorite matchups, but very atypical, very off meta as well. So many headhunters in the early game. Tier 3, but not heavy on Shaman. We still missing out on Rarara.
Yeah, that's sad to see, isn't it? We didn't even see a single Bloodlust go off. I mean, I was almost hoping for Remo's sake that we would see some bloodlusted Torrents. That would have been awesome. But it is such a late game transition. We'd have to see a really long, drawn-out game for those to come into play. But hey, we've got plenty of time for that here.
Was about to say, maybe with expansions, and what map would be better than Tidehunters? Armin with a 1-0 lead on the bottom right-hand side, legendary orc from the Netherlands, who actually showed up here, and Hippo for the playing ducks. It's also the rivalry of the two clans, right? I wonder if it's kind of interesting. Both team managers are the German casters, so I wonder who's casting right now and can be maybe a little bit biased, and who's sitting in the viewer area and cheering for their mates, Spartans and Playing Ducks, of course. Great teams. Always nice to have.
I'm sure they're having an absolutely awesome time. I feel like if I were either player's manager, you know, sitting next to the opponent's manager, you know, it would just be, you know, hope we have a good game between our clans here, and I have absolutely no doubt that these two players here are going to deliver on that. Yeah,
and both have strong irons in the fire. We got Starbuck for the Playing Ducks, we got Leon there as well, we got Scars, of course, for the Spartans. We have Tiesiak that you mentioned, we got Trunks here too, so they represent really strong.
I saw Trunks' like spreaded eagle playing position for the first time. I got dragged over, I think, by Flutschfinger just to see how he plays, or it might be Inscription, sorry, that actually was like, you got to check out how this guy plays. And I was like, okay, well, what could be so atypical about this? And the man has just got this incredible reach with the keyboard is miles away from his mouse hand. It was quite fascinating to watch.
Yeah, I was a little worried when he signed up that he might need 2 tables.
Yeah. We were laughing that actually the desks are like, they're massive. So he's got plenty of space to do that.
Maybe he gets a lead desk and can play like this from home as well.
There we go.
What do we got in the early game, Cube? We got Farseer versus Archmage once again. We have a brilliant start for this Archmage with the Claws of Attack. Mantle of Intelligence for the Farseer as well. And this time, Armin making a pit stop at the little turtle camp, not harassing right away.
Yeah, it's kind of, it's a pretty common opener for the Orc. I actually prefer it when they go to steal the opponent's turtle, but that can be fraught with risk, as if it's scouted, the human could just waddle around the corner and potentially pressure the Farseer a little bit there, especially with those claws. But on the other hand, taking the time to do that turtle does give the Archmage here that guaranteed level 2 very early on, which is amazing, obviously, for the human player. But Armin will secure his own level 2 here if he can secure this last hit on the level 2 sea turtle.
They're playing
he gets it, nice.
Around it so well.
Yep.
Both stutter stepping a little bit hesitant, but Armin gets it in the end. Another little jab towards Hippo after losing the first map, and then this crucial moment, the first time they face off against each other, and Armin gets it again. That goes to your nerves at some point.
Definitely. I mean, in a series, I've not played too many series myself, but absolutely when you play against the same opponent a couple, 2 or 3 games in a row, you start to be quite cognizant of all the little details that are going wrong. And you're always determined to try and not let them happen again, but sometimes it goes wrong in every game of the series, and it can be quite frustrating indeed. But yeah, actually, this start here for the Orc is pretty advantageous. You know, being level 2 against 2 is great. Human is contained in his base; he can't leave. And you know, for myself personally, when I play human, I hate being in these situations. I hate being trapped in my base like this.
Nowhere to run, nowhere to go, but at least you got the Arcane Tower helping you out, and also the Wolves are less powerful. But Armin gets the deny, and that's another little jab.
Beautiful.
Damn, Armin playing really well so far. I mean, a few storms were imperfect, I guess, in game 1, but apart from that, last hits on point. Interesting and nice strategies, unusual strategies as well. Hippo is in a little bit of trouble already.
It's so difficult because as the human player, you definitely want to try and get a little bit more experience. But it is so tough when your footmen are getting this low, and the orc is just at your door, pressuring your army. You pretty much have no ability to creep. You have to just let the orc bully you at this point. Armin's probably going to go back and take a central camp here to try and get towards level 3, and that's exactly what we're seeing. In fact, pulling the Makrura Snapper, if you knew that was the name of the creep here, that's that big crab man with the Headhunter, which is beautiful. Going to tank the rest of that damage as much as he can on the Wolf and the Grunt. And what can Hippo do? He's got all these footmen that are super low, coming back to try and pressure in the main base. He might get this burrow, but it is a bit of a stretch. A level 1 elemental not doing too much for him here.
Ooh, Town Portal home now, though. That might be a little excessive.
Yep. Definitely a bit of an overreaction there. I think he could have bought the Staff of Telly, actually, because Armin just dinged level 3. I think he could have bought the Staff of Telly, summoned the level 2 wolves, and that would have absolutely chased the Archmage away without the cost of the TP. But at the end of the day, Armin is the one kind of in the driver's seat this match so far. Though we will see if the difference in the heroes here will be kind of detrimental for Armin in the end, because losing that TP doesn't matter now. But if Hippo is able to leverage a level 3 Mountain King against a potential level 2 TC, if he gets stuck in a bad position, it could be bad for him.
All right, maybe just like this here, but Armin is the one to engage.
Yep.
Chain Lightning again, Speed Scroll, he's ready to brawl. And this is Hippo with very few forces. Mountain King joins now, trying to look for some pickups, but Armin retreating in a perfect time, I guess. Speed Scroll is gone, all right, but he got out of that situation, and Hippo pushing forward with very limited damage. I wonder if that's enough to kill a few, but if he takes out 2 or 3 Headhunters, that's already a success. Slows Armin down for sure.
Yep.
Lots of focus on the Mountain King already.
Yeah, for Armin here, I think he's sitting pretty comfortably as long as he doesn't lose more than maybe a couple Headhunters. And what's amazing is, even though the Mountain King was out almost an entire minute faster than the TC, they're actually both pretty much the same experience. Obviously, Hippo getting a tiny bit of experience there in the Mountain King. If he'd gone back to creep, actually going to secure a Grunt here, though, which is pretty nice. Oh. Denied again, though. Absolutely beautiful by Armin here. And he might actually pay with... Hippo might actually pay with the Rifleman here, but it does sneak away. It
feels a little like Armin is seeing the Matrix. Like, the early game on game 1 was not nearly as good as this one, execution-wise. Getting all the last hits, getting all the denies. The Stomps are nice, mana management is looking fine, the retreats are pretty much perfect. And Hippo, with this attack, didn't accomplish too much.
Yeah, I mean, the one good thing is that he did stall the creeping of the TC, and, you know, he is sort of building up his forces, you know, got a few Riflemen, 3 Riflemen and 2 Priests. It's not a great deal, but with the next bunch of units arriving, he should be able to power level that Mountain King up to level 3. However, TC is already cracking with the Lab Camp here, going to get level 2, and potentially Robe of the Magi, decent item, not incredible, but definitely nice on the TC, who suffers quite a bit intellectually, as we might realize. Oh, but big mana dropping here for the Mountain King, which is obviously an amazing item.
Oh man, what are these items in this series? Both can be very lucky. Army arrived on tier 3, Berserker upgrade coming, the most important one, I guess. Would love to see Mountain King with Clap and Boots, but a little unrealistic, I feel. Next, Sanctum is coming for Breakers potentially, but Armin catches him again with his pants down. There's a TP, he's trying to go for it.
Oh,
Rifleman down.
On the way out here as well.
Oh boy, it's a Mountain King.
Oh no! My God, no!
Dude, what a disaster! Mountain King left alone, not part of the town portal. He's dead. And with that, the carry is stopped in leveling. Hippo, how are you supposed to salvage this game now?
What an absolute shame for Hippo. You know, those sort of moments, they can happen, and once you've realized that that's just taken place, you feel absolutely deflated because there was no reason for his MK to die there. We saw our observer there just looking at the Cloak of Shadows. He could have bought the cloak, but actually, if you stomp a cloaked unit, it will reveal itself.
Oh,
did you know that? So it will, you know, Armin had at least a couple stomps. Even if it wasn't enough to kill him the first try, I'm almost certain the second stomp would have been enough to finish the MK off. Or indeed, he could just send a peon to the lab.
Exactly.
And just reveal him anyway. But nicely pointed out, nevertheless. Archmage hitting level 3 here, electing to go that level 2 Brilliance Aura, which I think, you know, Hippo understands we're entering the sort of late game stage now. Elementals have served their purpose, and they're pretty much falling off now.
It has to be Clap. It has to be this weapon of mass destruction.
Clap carry, man.
Exactly. And for that reason, I would really love to see Boots on the Mountain King just to get in position, just to get to that front row and do max damage, but I'm not sure that Armin will allow that. Hippo's resources, I don't know, he really can't afford it. Sorcerer's in the mix as well. He's trying to go for breakers, I guess, in the long run, but he's nowhere near that. TC and Fastia scout out the position once again. Oh boy, that
Oh,
slow.
not the best stomp again, but does pick off a priest.
Exactly, and slow was used. TC has trouble to get into position. It's a weird situation for both of them.
Yeah, absolutely. And what feels terrible for Hippo right now? Oh, here we go. Massive speed scroll by Armin right now. Gets a godly stomp on most of Hippo's army. 2 casters dying immediately in the riflemen are getting focused. Nice clap by Hippo as well into the main army of Armin. But I don't think it's going to be enough, and he calls for the G.
Wow, who would have thought that? Armin kind of stomps Hippo, especially on map 2. Takes the W 2-0. Pretty important here in the group stage, where they were both fighting for the slot alongside side.
Yep.
Damn, I did not expect this to be so one-sided, to be for Armin to be this good today.
Yeah, I think I'm sure if we go speak to him afterwards, he'll think that he put on probably a way better performance than even he expected. And perhaps for Hippo, it's a shame. I don't think he really pulled out his best game. Obviously, the Mountain King dying there was absolutely critical in losing control of the game. Wasn't looking fantastic for him still, you know, being in kind of dire straits with that level 1 Mountain King for so long. And getting creepjacked to the market was still not good anyway, even if the Mountain King survived. And yeah, just it's really cool to see Armin pull out a good game. Well, a great series, I should say, rather.
Exactly.
And I'm excited for the next one as well.
Ooh, me too. I heard it might be Kevin versus Leon.
Oh, that'd be exciting.
Would be pretty good. Maybe it's like the time of day getting to Hippo. It's been a long day. I don't know,
Oh, yeah.
8 or 9 hours of just pure Warcraft when you make it from the start of the bracket until now. It's a lot of games for these guys. Very few breaks. Sorry, but if you're good, you gotta play. We want to be entertained.
Yeah, you've got to entertain that audience. You've got to entertain the RARALAND zealots that have all joined us here at the event. And no doubt, you know, the thousands of viewers we have, just super excited to watch the event unfold live. I can say as well as a viewer myself, and obviously that sense, it's been an absolute pleasure to watch.
So far, so good. Of course, we have a lot more matches for you guys. We got to determine the 4 players that make it to the Arcadia World Series tomorrow. What's the match that you're most excited for tomorrow?
Would you be able to quickly run through the matches for me? Do you know them off the top of your head?
For example, we got Happy versus Hitman tomorrow.
Oh my god, that is the match everyone's been excited
I was
for.
about to say, like, do I have to tell you more matches? Or
No,
is it another?
no, that's absolutely fine. I'll be tuning in for that one.
All right, everybody. We got more matches for you. But of course, we also got the couch with young Ulrich. And I don't know.
We'll find out.
Exactly.